celebrating the power of possibility.
Hi, I'm Kreis Beall, and I believe anything is possible.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. My guest is Kreis Beall. Thank you for being here today.
I'm honored to be here.
You have been a part of creating one of the most incredible luxury resort brands in the world. I mean, and I've traveled a lot of different places, and if I ever make reference to Blackberry, people rave. Was that the idea?
No.
Did you have any idea?
Oh. No
When did you
idea.
start this, and how did this start?
Well, I started it very young when I was 22 years old. I guess you could say I started at 22 years old. And really the credit is to my Sandy Bell and to myself. I call Sandy my best ex. And I started cooking when I was 22 years old by going to a class in someone's home. And I came home and began to cook every single night and have guests over every night. And my entrepreneurial husband said, well, if we're going to do this every night, we might as well be in the inn business. And I said, great, go find one. And he did, and that's Blackberry Farm.
Why did you start having people over every night?
I found out from going to Kathleen Barron's cooking class that I loved to cook and serve people. And so basically what I did every day of my life was go to the grocery store, cook dinner, and have friends over. And I think I liked the whole production of beginning to end and the satisfaction probably in such a short amount of time. And everybody, it was such a welcoming and happy occasion.
So you weren't making food, you were making joy.
Yeah, perhaps that's it.
So this was not like, I have a vision of creating.
Oh, absolutely
this.
not.
This was a vision of community.
Well, you know, I can put the word vision to it now. I was just a kid. I was just honestly having fun.
Where are you from?
Knoxville.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Tell me about growing up in Knoxville.
Proud to be here. It was wonderful. And Blackberry Farm, I had the most beautiful home. And I still have the most beautiful mother. I'm so blessed with it. And I had the most nurturing grandmother. So Blackberry Farm ended up to be, I wanted Blackberry Farm to be beautiful like the house that I grew up in, and warm and nurturing like my grandmother's house. So I had a very wonderful childhood in Knoxville, and I'm so proud of this community.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying about the beauty and wonder of your childhood, and this may be a real gift, is that you recognized it. Mm-hmm. Did you live with that revelation all the time, or was it revealed to you through life experience that, dadgummit, the way they nurtured me, the intention around having a beautiful home, a space where there's grace, that was intentional, there was a design there. It didn't just happen, or did you discover that?
I discovered it. I discovered it later. I think that I got so busy in my dream, and it just one dream fueled the next. And success fuels more success. And I just kept going, and until I had to stop and look, I don't think I really even recognized it. I just kept building what I call the storybook. And I grew up in the storybook and created a storybook and pulled it from all different parts, because you see, my grandmother was a farmer. And so farm life was known to me. And then my other grandparents were gentleman farmers. So there was the real farmer and the gentleman farmers. And So it's until I sat down to really look at it, it's like, where did everything come from? And it really does come from your childhood. Every little single bit that came to Blackberry. Plus it came from the energy of Chris and Sandy. We were both young, risky dreamers. And the people that supported us in this dream and this vision. So it's more than just the dream, it's the people that help you and believe in you.
Wow. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more. You're watching Anything is Possible. My guest is Kreis Beall.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
I ended up in intensive care for 10 days and had brain surgery and was partially paralyzed, walked with a cane, lost the hearing in my right ear, and I couldn't work for a year.
You said you look back on your life and you're like, wow, I had a wonderful home.
I did.
That's a key word for you. And you acknowledge your grandmother and your mother and your mother-in-law. And I asked you if you knew that or if you discovered that. And you said the word, I had to stop. What stopped you?
Ooh, I'll have to make a difficult story, I guess, short. I actually had a tragic accident.
What happened?
I fell in my driveway. My head hit the curb. I ended up in intensive care for 10 days and had brain surgery and was partially paralyzed, walked with a cane, lost the hearing in my right ear, and I couldn't work for a year for the first time in maybe 27 years.
What does that do to a person of action like yourself?
Oh, it was, when your doctor says you can't work or read a book.
You can't read a book.
No, I couldn't. No, in my recovery, my brain was so injured, I call it like it was a brain in kindergarten, that the way that I put it is, I don't know if you remember a broken leg in traction in the bed, you're up and you cannot put any pressure or weight on your leg because that will prolong the healing.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing with the injured brain. You can't do anything except for just have fun. Just be light on it.
That would depress me.
No, it was. I could still read, I still thought, I still wanted to work, but it really is very difficult for your mind to process all of that.
Could you speak?
Oh yeah, I could speak. You thought the same, but I couldn't work. So my first thing was to physically get better.
Right.
But what I found out was after I did, that not being able to hear totally changed my life. From being such an outgoing, self-assured person, I really lost my self-esteem because I couldn't multitask and function the way that my brain thought, because I'll give you a silly example. To watch television or to watch a movie, to flip through magazines and to read something and even answer the phone, you can't do that many things.
Jeez.
You have to fully put your eyes on exactly what you're doing. Because I now think with my eyes as much as hear. I have to see, I rely on visual things. So
that stopped you?
Oh, that stopped me. Well, it actually sent me sort of into a deep hole, into depression. And I'm such an optimistic person, I don't think that I would realize that. And it was really working back through that.
Wow.
And finding God.
I think your story is such an amazing story of possibility, because any one of the things that stopped you from making home would have stopped me permanently. Right. Your marriage?
Right.
That blows up. Your son. Mm-hmm. You lose your son, who is the driving force. Right. He is, you've passed a baton. Can you talk about each and how those stopped you? Because I want to get to how God helps you restart and imagine new possibilities after you've been stopped that way.
I can sort of sum it up. Probably the first stop was our home burned to the ground. We lost every single thing. So we lost our house. And at that point, a voice came to me and said, "Do not rebuild. It's time to move." And our son, our youngest son, was a senior in high school. So I called Sandy and I said, "It's time to move." He said, "Where do you want to go?" And we ended up in back at Blackberry. Now that was a 2-year process. And once we were back there, then I had my accident. So I said I lost my home, then I lost my health, and then I lost my husband. And in all of those losses, I found something that I'll never lose, and that's God. And in finding that, I found myself. And as I was rebuilding with God, and I got to know my son Sam in a way that I would have never known. And that was, he asked me to come back to work as director of design. He said, "You know, Mom, that's your department. I don't really know anything about it." We were in a growth period at Blackberry. So I was highly honored to do that. And one day in a meeting, Sam says to me, we talk about business, and we sat at the same table every Friday at 12 noon. And he said, "Mom, I want to know you." And I think that that was the first person in my family after my accident. Because see, Halloran, I just wanted to be the old me. And after significant things happen, you're never who you were. You are someone new. And it was such a wonderful thing for him to ask me and to explore.
I mean, that is such a powerful statement. Mom, I want to know you.
What I asked him that day, I said, "Sam, what's important to you?" You know what he said? He said, "My chicks." He said, "My children, my wife, taking care of them." And probably the most difficult thing is, for me still, is Sam losing his chicks and his wonderful family. But we all get together every, anniversary of his death or birthday or holidays, because Sam's with us. He's everywhere at Blackberry. And the power of legacy is tremendous. And I'm so blessed that I told him so many times before he passed how he married the perfect woman. And I couldn't be more proud of him. Always tell your family how proud you are of them and how much you love them. Don't wait. Don't wait.
That is so powerful. I want to talk to you about turning the page.
Okay.
You said something that I thought was so incredible. You said, "I wanted to be the old me."
Yes.
So I want to talk to you about turning the page from the old you to the now you, to the new you. You're watching Anything is Possible. My guest is Kreis Beall. I love what I do because I get to learn and I get to grow from being with incredible people like yourself. And you were talking about not wanting to be this you wanted to go back to the old you. But you said something when we were in the break, and I always loved this happening to me. It was a new awakening. And this is what I learned from you today. You said, "Halloran, you have to be authentic in all things." Mm-hmm. You know what struck me is that authenticity opens up possibility.
Yes.
It awakens whole new possibilities. If the minute you step into being authentic in a direction, it changes the trajectory of possibility in your life. Thank you for that. That's about right now in my life. That is a great thing that you just taught me. How did you turn the page?
Well, I think it was
becoming this new you. And do you like the new you?
Yes.
You like who you're becoming?
I think the word becoming is so important. If you had read my first, Michelle Obama got becoming, but it was in my book proposal, and it was about who I was becoming. And who I am becoming is a woman of faith. And my spiritual journey has led me who I'm becoming. And that is being authentic and learning from the past. It's sort of like Solomon and the difference in knowledge and wisdom. Mm-hmm. And in the second part of our journey, like David Brooks said, going up the second mountain, you take the knowledge of the first adulthood and you turn it into wisdom. And that is, wisdom in your own life and guiding others and letting go and becoming authentically who you are at whatever age. Because who I am at 68 is not who I was when I was 22. And hopefully I've learned a lot of knowledge and I can use it well to serve God.
You read something to me when we were preparing, and I think this would be a perfect way to wrap this time that we've had together. I could talk to you all day.
Okay.
But would you read, you were giving a major speech, you were like, oh no, I gotta give a major speech, and was Diane Keaton your opening act, or were you her opening act?
She was mine, it was scary.
So would you share that with us? Because I think it is a great summary of who you are becoming and the values that drive who you are.
Well, this is the end of the talk. And I sort of labeled this part as legacy of home. I said, God has blessed me with perseverance to do whatever He calls me to do. I've never had any training to do anything I've ever done. I've just done the best I can with what I have. My life's work began with Blackberry, and it will end there. And in the meantime, I'm humble and happy. Today, I'm the retired director of design at Blackberry Farm. I am still living out my passion of home. I still love to build, but what I love more is having the opportunity to build people, to cultivate relationships, to encourage and to cheerlead as I watch others live out their dreams and passions. I am discovering life as a single woman, and I'm living it to the fullest. It's been 45 years since we started Blackberry Farm, and the funny thing is, I'm more excited about life than ever. The art of living is the art of giving. Life is about finding your passion and giving it everything. The Bible says to give, and you will receive, and nothing is impossible with God. Mm-hmm. I am blessed the legacy lived on in my son Sam, who brought Blackberry to new heights in 12 short years. He was in love with our dream as much as me, and it was a joy to watch him build Blackberry Farm and raise his family there. Blackberry is home to 5 of my grandchildren. You have to find what you love, and once you do, put your whole heart in it. For me, it's home. Your ideas are important. Believe in yourself, even in difficult times. Mm-hmm. My life has been full of sorrow, but a lot more joy. Hard things will happen. You will be disappointed, but the key is to look it square in the eye and deal with it, move on, and keep dreaming. My story of Blackberry Farm at the end of the day is a love story. I believe that home can heal. It can restore, and like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. It's all the things that we can't get our hands on that end up being the most important in life. I am so happy to know that God has me in the palm of His hand. For me, God is home. Hold on to whatever home is for you. Live your own story, whatever that may be, and whatever your passions are. Don't stop dreaming. And this is what I leave you with today. Love your life. Find your passion. Work hard, and amazing things can happen. all it takes is all you've got, and it's worth it.
And anything is possible.
Yes.
You know what I love that you said in there?
What?
Did you say God is my home?
God is home. For me, God is home.
What does it feel like to feel at home in God's hands?
There, you know, my whole life has been about home. And I think that even before my accident, I always looked at the external home and pleasing everybody there. And after the accident, I went to my internal home. And that's the most important thing, to please. And how does it feel? It feels like I'm home everywhere, everywhere. Wow. It's not a place, it's in your heart.
I love that. I feel like I'm home everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. If you were giving me advice, if you said, Howard, let's look out to your future. This is what I've learned about life, and this is what I've learned about possibility. Never do this, always do this.
Listen to your heart. It's everything you need is right in there.
Wow.
If there's a little voice, listen to it.
Well, you sitting here today is proof that anything is possible. Kreis Beall, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Howard.
We'll see you next time.